was part of the Howie Mandel interview with Marc Maron that I feel like mostly flew under the radar. Mark took it in a completely understandable direction, but I am just so astounded by it. I don't really even understand it. I think what Howie said, he must have not meant what he said. Not that I know anything about Howie Mandel. He's a man who I mostly know him from pointing at women who open briefcases. And also Bobby's World, which I did enjoy. I was of the age to enjoy Bobby's World. That kid had a weird head, and I liked it. But let's listen to what our man here says.
I just went and saw Ricky Gervais at the Hollywood Bowl.
What a bore.
No, brilliant.
You loved it.
I mean, what a... Mark is not making any friends here. He's talking about going to a Ricky Gervais show, and he's summarizing the point, though I assume he's doing it badly because I hope that this was not the point that Ricky Gervais was trying to make, but who knows?
I think this new show is called Mortality.
I don't think I can find this. I don't know if it's out yet.
I've got a woke joke, right? You remember those jokes we used to have when we were kids, like Doctor joke? Doctor, I keep thinking I'm a pair of curtains. Well, pull yourself together then. I've done a woke version of that, brought it up to today's standards, right? So, bloke goes to the doctor. He goes, Doctor, I keep thinking I'm a pair of curtains. And the doctor goes, well, you are then.
Literally, the attack helicopter joke. It's just literally the attack helicopter joke. Jesus Christ. It's been 10 years. Jesus. It's been more than 10 years since the attack helicopter joke. You just told, that was your fucking trailer? So he's still telling the attack helicopter joke, but that is just a trailer for a show that I could go watch in the real world, not something that's been released. So I can't watch this bit that Howie Mandel's talking about here.
And he talked about, what we are appalled at or what we think is stupid is all about the time.
So this is, we get a little bit of moral relativism from Ricky Gervais via Howie Mandel. What is bad? It depends on where you're from, what you're surrounded by, and moral relativism, a legitimate philosophical idea. I think that you could also make the case that racism is bad no matter when it happened, even if it wasn't felt to be bad at the time. It was bad anyway. That is how I feel. And I feel that way about places that sort of have racially built caste systems now, or any built caste systems.
And this is what I'm talking about, our cultural shift. We're not shifting it, it's shifting. He goes like, listen, right now, everybody talks, the worst thing you can be is a racist. You can't, and it is right now. I mean, if that's probably the number one negative that somebody.
It was so interesting to watch like powerful, high status white men say the worst thing that can happen to you is be called a racist. I see this all the time, and it's because it's the worst thing that can happen to them. The worst thing that can happen to you, if you have a lot of status, is to be called a thing that lowers your status. And that's why wealthy, high status people worry about being canceled and dying. And that's why when I go to dinner with people in San Francisco, they talk a lot about how to not die. Like, a lot. That it is their main obsession because it's the only bad thing they can still imagine happening to them. Okay, sorry, I'll keep watching.
I don't think that's true. I think that maybe since he's written that show, the screw is turned. It doesn't seem to be the most negative thing at all. But we have a president who's a racist.
This is a great point from Marc Maron, and is absolutely the case. And I think that he's being very charitable and saying since Ricky wrote that show and not just sort of assuming that Ricky is beating a drum because it is making noise. I don't know. I'm being snarky.
But we have a president who's a racist, and he's very popular.
He's not identified as one, though.
Well, he's not identified as a racist. No, but like, so taking the 30,000 foot view here, what are we talking about? We're talking about whether or not people calling you a racist or doing racist things, and that result in people calling you a racist results in you losing status because it's taboo. In actual definite fact, it is easier to maintain your status or to even grow your status by doing racist stuff and saying racist things and believing that one race is superior to another now than it was 5 years ago.
How much digging do you have to do? Get me on a computer. I can do it in 2 clicks.
No, I know, but half the country doesn't agree with you.
So it's not the biggest problem, is it?
It's, if you call him that, it's incredibly.
People call him that every day.
So like Mark's saying there's an objective reality here, and Howie's saying, yeah, but there's a bunch of people who don't think that Trump is racist. And it's like, well, do they not think he's racist, or do they not think it's racist to feel like white people are superior to black people? Do they not think it's racist to scapegoat races? Do they not think it's racist to only talk about certain races through the lens of crime? Like, maybe they don't think that that's racist, but it is. So now he's lost the premise, and he's going to restate the premise incorrectly.
Well, I'm just saying that the premise is faulty.
Well, let me tell you, but let me finish the premise. The premise is whatever you believe is a racist move, if he lived, Ricky Gervais, lived 100 years ago and bought 100 slaves, he's an aristocrat. He's not a racist. He would be applauded for owning a plantation.
This is the thing that I can't stop thinking about. So this is not what Ricky Gervais was saying. He was not saying that 100 years ago, I'm not expecting Howie Mandel to get the years right, but 100 years ago, you would, if you bought slaves, it'd be a real problem because it was 1925 and slavery was illegal. But 200 years ago, sure. 1825, you own a bunch of slaves, you're an aristocrat. No, you're a racist. The thing that's changed, and he said this correctly in the beginning, the thing that's changed is that it was back then a respectable thing to be. You can have that belief, you can be a racist, and it is not just not harmful, but it is beneficial to have that belief. Absolutely, people are products of the cultures that they are inside of, including the time period that they are inside of, and so it would be normal to be a white supremacist 200 years ago. It would, for clarity though, still be racist. But he does say, and he has this thought, and it comes out of his mouth, a person buying slaves isn't racist if they live in a society in which racism is okay. And that, to me, indicates that Howie Mandel is stuck thinking that what racism is being punished for being racist. So like, you're racist if you are punished for being racist, but if you're not punished for being racist, you're not racist. And that means that he's seeing all of this through the lens of how the high status person is being affected by society's understanding of racism. He is not seeing any of this through the lens of society as a whole. He is, of course, not seeing any of this through the lens of the people who are racialized and then marginalized through that racialization. But the leap that his brain made was from it used to be a high status belief and now it's a low status belief, to believe that one race is superior to another race, to it used to be that being racist wasn't racist and now it is. And that, it took me so long to parse that. I think this is a wild thing to do. But let's talk a little bit about why racism is bad. I think maybe we got kind of caught up in the woke, anti-woke. We got caught up in the problematic without saying why it's problematic. We got caught up in the, oh, don't talk about it, it's scary stuff. And we haven't said out loud why racism is bad in a while. Or maybe we haven't said it at all correctly. Racism is bad because it's easy. It's a very easy cognitive bias to fall into. But I think that a lot of the sort of basic definition of racism is simply hating other people. A person can be out there thinking Nazis are evil, hatred of another group of people is evil, and I would never do that. I'm not a white supremacist just because I think white people are superior to black people. That's just how it is. I'm just stating a fact. I'm not doing a white supremacy. I think there are a lot of people like that. I mean, I know that there's a fair number of them because I've interacted with them. I talk and they're like, no, I'm not a white supremacist, but you can't deny that white people are superior. And I'm like, that's what it is. That's the whole definition. You did it. You are a Nazi. The Nazis weren't a bunch of people who went to work every day going I'm evil and thinking I'm an evil man and I've got evil in my heart and hatred and I burn with it and I burn with evil and hate. They just believed that white people were superior and they used that meme and our normal cognitive biases and our normal fear of outsiders and they used it as a tool to consolidate state power and then to kill people. The reason we have taboos against doing and saying racist stuff is because it is socially destructive to do and say racist stuff because it reinforces the bias. When those actions receive social reinforcement, which is what a lot of the anti-woke story has been about. It has been about being able to say certain things and receive love and appreciation and praise for them rather than criticism. And the fact that Howie Mandel can sit there and think with his own human brain that people were less racist in a time when they were more racist. This is a spectrum, of course. You can believe that white people are superior to black people without thinking that they are unthinking animals, which was often what was believed back 200 years ago. But I have to say, thinking one group is superior to another is the first step on that path. And it's also just known to be untrue. We see that genetic variation within a racial group is often more diverse than genetic variation between racial groups. We see that there's no such thing as racial purity, that humans have been spreading out and interbreeding all over the place for the whole time. Now, of course, race is real, because societal constructs are real. We make it real. The way we make money real. The way we make property rights real. We create race. we have built race. And by having a caste system that still exists and that is defined in part by race, we create many racial differences that would not otherwise be there. Just like class stratification creates class differences that would not otherwise be there. And once those differences are there, people who either are ambitious or fearful can exploit them in order to make themselves more powerful, because working against bias is work. Because accepting that race is a fake idea that feels real in your head is work. And if somebody gives you an opportunity to not do that work, while at the same time feeling superior to a bunch of people you're afraid of, you're gonna want to do that. That's an easy path, which is again why it's important to make racism taboo again. Because if you offer people an easy path and a lot of reasons to be afraid, they'll take it. It's extremely seductive. And that will be very bad for society.